Um, Good evening, everyone, and welcome. First, I'd like to acknowledge that we meet here today on the ancestral lands of the Tiwa people, the regional caretakers of this land. My name is Terry Sloan, and I am Dene and Hopi Native American, born of the Kiani Towering House clan, and born for the Totlini Water Flows Together clan. And as Joe noted, I am an NMEPR or Ann noted board member. I am the director of my NGO, Southwest Native Cultures, to which I'm an accredited member of the United Nations. Hence my background. It is my honor to introduce to you my uncle, former chairman of the Hopi tribe, world-renowned water theologian and protector, UN World Water Forum presenter, executive director of his NGO Black Mesa Trust, who led the charge to stop Peabody Coal from continuing to waste billions of gallons of pristine Navajo and Hopi aquifer water. May I introduce you, the Honorable Vernon Masayesva.
Thank you, Terry. I am pleased to be here, to be invited to talk. I don't have a prepared statement. I don't like to do that. I just speak from the heart. And I am currently the director of Black Mesa Trust. And it's the first environmental advocacy organization here. And we were Black Mesa Trust was founded in 1998 to preserve water under Black Mesa, which is very sacred to the Hopi people. It's water stored deep under the land, and as well as surface water. To save that, because on Black Mesa, the world's largest strip mining of coal has been going on since 1970. And it uses billions and billions of gallons of water. And so now we are at a point where we have finally achieved the objective, the goal and objective of Black Mesa Trust, which is to save water for future generations and to begin to teach the young people about the nature of water as we Hopi people understand it. And it's been a long, frustrating battle with the government, the Office of Surface Mining, with the mining company, and even our own government. But we persevered somehow because we had faith that we were going to save the water. And we had no money, no lawyers, nothing like that. It was just a group of Hopis, very concerned. Well, 2019, Peabody Mining shut down permanently. It took a long time for us to get here. And so now it is shut down. We no longer hear dynamites going off and bulldozers and all kinds of machinery making a lot of noise. And we're all very happy. We're all very happy that we finally have met our mission. There's still a lot of work to be done. And so we are still struggling to get the government to carry out its trust responsibility, to get the mining company to restore the land to its natural conditions, which is required under the surface mining law of the United States. And they're reluctant to do it. And that's the battle right now. And we're just concerned that that the work will not be done, and we will be left with a wreck. And the amount of damages is just beyond imagination. What they have done to a sacred area where our ancestors settled thousands of years ago. Well, and so we're happy that this has finally happened. But again, at a huge cost to the people, and economic costs primarily, because there's no more money coming in from the coal royalties, and we depend on it. The Hopi government depends on that money to operate. I think they say 85% of the money needed to run the government is no longer there. So we don't know where this is going to end up. The government will not listen to Black Mesa Trust because we're a non-governmental organization. They will only talk with the Hopi chairman, who's the president of our nation. But if they aren't doing anything, then really OSM really can't really do anything. And this is our worst fear. So presently, we're thinking about at least a citizen complaint and possibly a lawsuit for major damages done to our land for the government's failure to exercise their trust duty to protect our natural cultural resources. So that's who we are, Black Mesa Trust, and now we have another crisis. The Little Colorado River is running dry. Pretty soon it'll be a river no more, and it's not protected. There's no law in Arizona that protects the rivers in rural areas. The Little Colorado River is such an essential part of our culture. The waters that go down the river feeds a very sacred area called Sipapu. Sipapu is the heart of our civilization, of the heart of our mother, the mother of our civilization. And if the heart dies, so will our mother. And then what happens to us Hopi people? Our ancestors were the first ones settled in the Little Colorado River Basin, the first ones to be using the water for domestic purposes, agricultural, and religious purposes. And recently, the Arizona courts rule that Hopi people no longer have any rights to the Little Colorado River. And that's what we're now fighting. We're fighting to save Sipapu. And I think this situation that we're now playing or facing the Little Colorado River is a good, what I would call a good case study on really what's happening throughout the world. You know, yeah, you, okay? Hello?
We're still here, Vernon. Can you hear me?
Yeah, well, I was going to an introduction. I don't know what more you want me to do now.
If you want, you can provide us some of your, I guess, theological thoughts on water. What are your
Okay.
feelings about water?
Okay, I can talk forever, as you know, Terry. You know, I'm a motor mom, and I'm sorry about that. But I'll try to I don't know how much time I have to say, to talk. Can you give me a sense of time?
About another 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay, all right. Well, Little Colorado River is a good study. And it, because it is an example of what is happening all over the world. We are facing a water crisis. We all know that. You all know that. And there is a lack of political will to do anything about it. We have the science, the technology, the skills, the tools that have developed over the past centuries to manage and control water. But we aren't using it. We aren't using it.
Good, great. I'll just go on. Okay, good night, sweetie. Okay, come on.
Yeah. But we are not using it. And so the lack of political will, the lack of water laws that protect the rivers here in our area and the Colorado River has reached that point where it's become a major crisis. And we have no will to avert it. The leaders don't. We all know that the water levels in the Hoover Dam and Grand Canyon Dam is way below. And it's not just caused by the climate change, the prolonged drought. For many other purposes are contributing. And so what are we going to do about it? I don't have any expertise to answer the question, except to say that perhaps we need to develop a new water paradigm, a new way of looking at water, like the way Hopis did. We are farmers in a dry desert where there's no lakes, rivers to irrigate the crops. And yet we are around here for over 1,000 years. We are still farming, even though we're not harvesting much anymore because of the drought. And so we have knowledge that we can share, which could be an important part of a basis, a foundation for a new paradigm. The paradigm that we're now in my opinion, tells me or teaches me that because of our science and technology, mankind can control and manage the waters. Well, that's not what we think. We believe we cannot control and manage water. It's the other way around. It's water that manages us. We are at the mercy of water. We cannot do without fresh water. Water is the ingredient that forms our lifeblood. And we can't survive if the waters dry up and we don't have enough to sustain ourselves, not just humankind, but all forms of life that exist on planet Earth. And so we have knowledge about the nature of water, about the hydrologic cycle. We have our own science, but we don't have the sophisticated mathematics to talk about it. We don't have theories. We express our faith, our belief, our prayers through ceremonies, through songs, traditions, so forth and so on. That's our way of telling mankind why water is so important, that it is sacred, that all forms of life have a right to water. We all come from water. The first world was nothing but water. Earth was nothing but water. There was no land. And from it came land and life. And then we moved on through development of civilizations that became more and more sophisticated. And so what happened is happening us today is that we are, as Hopi say, perhaps at the ending of this present world called the fourth world. It's written on Prophecy Rock. Across the valley from O'Reilly, which is the oldest continuously inhabited community in North America. It is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. And so we have much to share with you. For example, the hydraulic cycle. We all, like I said, we all come from water. We're all children of water. We're water people. And water is one element that you cannot destroy. So when your body dies, the water turns into vapor as breath, and it leaves the body and ascends to another world, the home of the cloud people. And there we rest, join the ancestors, and come back, bringing rain, snow, to replenish the rivers, the lakes, the groundwater, and the mother's breath, earth mother's breath with fresh milk that we all nurse from. So in Hopi, there's no such thing as death, only a transition. That's our belief. And it's something that I feel the world needs to know, that we can't just keep thinking of water as a thing, a commodity, but as a spirit, our soul. We have to take that into consideration as we fashion a new paradigm. And like I said, we have the technological skills available. And that comes from the brain. And our belief about water being a spiritual thing comes from the heart. So the heart and the mind have to come together. I think that's the only way we're going to survive and hopefully to fashion another world, which is called the fifth world. We, to me, are entering that phase. And it, to me, has already started. There are many organizations forming, such as yours, that care about water. We care about protecting and conserving the water, and we want to know how to use it better, wisely. Manage it, not just for beneficial purposes, but because water is holy. We all water. And so we ought to think in that frame of mind. Little Colorado River is a good example of how Western mindset, let's just call it a Western mindset, treats water as a commodity. The river is was wild, of no use. And then to put it to a beneficial use, they build reservoirs, dams. So now it's drying up for beneficial purposes. And we are deeply concerned, and I hope all of you are concerned, that this type of mentality is not in our interest, because the river is dying. It's a source of water for sea papu. And so to deny water to sea papu is like violating our right to practice our religion. And this should be something that the world needs to know about and say, we're going to help the Hopi people save sea papu. Okay? You ready?
Thank you, Vernon.
Yeah.
Thank you.